Hi everyone, I'm Celeste. Welcome to my BookTube channel, A Reader's Almanac. I had a birthday that I celebrated last week, and I just wanted to share with you some of the books that I received or purchased for myself over the last week or so. A lot of them are actually vintage or used books. I did get some new books, but predominantly the theme that I see throughout all of these things is spring, the month of May in particular, flowers, and color. I've noticed lately that I'm choosing books heavily by their book covers, which may not always be the best thing to do, but I've just been in sort of a mood for color and have been very sensitive to color. And I've temporarily rearranged some of my shelves here. If you're a follower of my channel, you probably know my backdrop and the books are pretty stable in their locations on the shelves, but I've been rearranging them lately, and in fact I'm planning on doing a whole rearranging of all of my bookshelves soon. And after that I promise I'll give you a long overdue bookshelf tour. But lately I've just sort of temporarily rearranged them to accommodate some of the newer books that I want to feature, and so I've just moved some books down to the bottom shelves and cleared up some space up above here. So I just wanted to share with you some of the books that have been on my mind lately and that I did receive for my birthday. And the first one that I'll share with you is this group of stories, and this is The Hunger Games, and this is the deluxe Hunger Games collection. I don't know much about the Hunger Games. I'm very late to the party. I haven't ever read any of them, and I probably would not have purchased this except that my employer gave me a gift card, and it was to a store I don't normally shop at, but they did have this lovely and very colorful boxed set with 4 of the books. And so yeah, I just thought I would take these out and share them with you. It comes in a beautiful boxed set, and the first one, of course, is The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins, and that's the cover of that one. And they all have sprayed edges in different colors, so that's really cool. And they also do have, at the head of each chapter, a little leaf illustration. So they're really cool. I was debating between this and the deluxe hardcover edition of just The Hunger Games, but I decided to go for this just because the burst of color was so wonderful. This is the next one in the box. I don't even know if I have these in the correct order. Okay, that's how much I know about them. But Catching Fire, here's the cover of that one, and look at the beautiful sprayed edges on that. So that's that one. And then the next one in is Mockingjay. My apologies if they're in the wrong order to all of you Hunger Games aficionados. Look at the beautiful edges on that one. Just gorgeous. It just seems so springy to me and so beautiful. I couldn't resist them, and hey, it was free to me, so why not? And then this is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. How pretty. Look at that. So, like I said, I have never read any of these books, know very little about them. I know Jennifer Lawrence starred in the movie. I know that people seem to love these, and so I thought, why not give them a chance? And then you may have noticed on my shelves back here, I have a number of poetry books in this set that are edited by Jane McMorland Hunter, and they are published by Batsford Editions. And there's a nature poem for every night, a nature poem for every day, a happy poem to end every day, etc. She has quite a few. And so I did receive a happy poem to start every day, which I thought was lovely for the summer coming up. It's a poem for every day of the year, but it just has such a beautiful, colorful, summery cover that I just loved it. And of course the decoration is on the spine as well, and they look so nice on the shelf. So I'm really looking forward to adding a happy poem to start every day to my collection. It's got poems by John Clare, Mary Oliver, Wendell Berry, Rita Dove, just so many. And I like that in this edition specifically, they have sort of broadened the horizons of the poems that they put in here. You know, sometimes I find that beautiful anthologies of poetry seem to concentrate very heavily on the UK, and sometimes inadvertently ignore some of the other poets of the world who have such lovely things to say. And so I'm happy to find other poets in this collection as well from a number of different countries. And it just looks like a really good collection, and I'm looking forward to curling up in the morning with my cup of coffee and enjoying a happy poem to start every day. And so now I'm going to stand up for a moment and show you some of the books on my shelf. It was just easier to do it this way because I received so many of these books that it would be hard to show you on my little table here. So bear with me just a moment. So here is the little corner of the room where I film my videos, and I do have two bookcases here. Here's my lovely towel lamp that I got for $20 at a museum next to New Sale, which I just treasure. It's my floor lamp. And then I just wanted to show you on this bookshelf. Oh, and let me point out before we begin, on this shelf down here where I've temporarily put my Persephone books and some of my Dean Street Press editions and some Eva Ibbotson. I did also, next to my lovely vase of cherry blossoms, I did receive a beautiful card from my friend Heather for my birthday with some gorgeous seaside artwork on it. So thank you very much, Heather. On the bottom down here, I just have some of my British Library women's editions, some Virago classics. I have Jane Austen, and I have my Anya Seton books. And then up here, P.D. James, Brother Cadfael, some other mystery anthologies, some random Alison Ware books, and then some of my vintage books on this shelf, resting temporarily. I just love The Little Silver House. I've talked about this one before. It's just such a wonderful book. And Paul Gallico, here's an old Rumer Godden China Court, just so many that I love. But for my birthday, down on this shelf, I'm so excited to share with you that I had all of these Mary Stewart books, and I've read some of them, and some of them are rereads, but I have Madam Will You Talk, which I've read, Wildfire at Midnight, which I've read, Thunder on the Right, which I read last year, and now the next one is Nine Coaches Waiting, and I'm looking forward to reading that one. And then I did have these, which I have not read, and that's all the ones that I owned. However, I did decide to splurge on my birthday and order all of the Mary Stewart editions that I did not have yet. And I was given a very marvelous gift card that would cover the cost of all of the remaining Mary Stewarts that I wanted. I so love these Hodder editions, which are the ones that I collect. They have such beautiful artwork, and they're just exquisite. So these are all the ones that I did not own personally, and so I decided to get them. So I'm just going to, if I can, without knocking everything over here, I'll just hold up the ones that I just got. So imagine opening this box on your birthday. It's just wonderful. So we have Rose Cottage, Thorny Hold. Beautiful cover on this one. I absolutely love that with the trees. And the colors are just so rich. I think these might be like travel posters, vintage travel posters. And then this might be like a novella and short story collection. The Wind Off the Small Isles and The Lost One. That's I think that might be, I don't know, is that the very first one? Don't know. And then look at this one. The Gabriel Hounds. Beautiful. And if you need a infusion of bright color and sunshine, these are perfect books to buy because the covers are just stunning. Then we have Airs Above the Ground. I always remember my mother having a copy of Airs Above the Ground. And then my brother Michael. Look how bright and gorgeous that one is. Okay. Stormy Petrel. Again, gorgeous. And this is what the backs look like. And they're published by Hodder. And then finally, The Ivy Tree. So here's that one. So I believe that I now have all of the Mary Stewart novels. I do not have her children's books yet, which are The Little Broomstick, Ludo and the Star Horse, and A Walk in Wolfwood. And I do not have the Arthurian books, which is The Crystal Cave, The Hollow Hills, The Last Enchantment, The Wicked Day, and The Prince and the Pilgrim. I do not own those yet. Nor have I seen those books in the Hodder edition, so I'll have to check. Wouldn't it be lovely if, you know, they put out the Arthurian books in this sort of an edition too? Obviously they wouldn't have travel posters, but you know, something that would match these, that would be wonderful. But anyway, so I am so excited to have received all of these wonderful Mary Stewart books, which have now rounded out my collection of all of her romance and suspense novels. Okay, so then I am so excited to share my next coup with you. You will not believe it. These are all used books, but they look brand new. I was fortunate enough to find a seller on eBay who had most of the Alexander McCall Smith #1 Ladies Detective Agency series. And I was just in heaven when I received this. I have to say, I have never had more professional correspondence back and forth with a seller on eBay. This person was just wonderful. But not just that, the promptness of their responses and then the way they actually packaged the books was impeccable. I've never seen books packed so well. If you're a book buyer, you've probably experienced this, the unfortunate situation of when you purchase a book with exactly the cover you want, the exact artwork, and it's in beautiful condition, but then the seller sends it to you in kind of shoddy packaging, and when you receive it, it's dinged or bent or what have you, wrinkled, or rain-soaked, and it just wasn't well packaged. Well, with this bookseller, everything was perfect. I almost wish that I had done an unboxing of these books and saved it, because they were wrapped in plastic, then in newspaper, then they were buffered with cardboard, then they were put into new cardboard boxes, not reused boxes, but perfectly clean boxes with padding, like a foam padding all around it. And it was just beautiful. And the books arrived in gorgeous, gorgeous condition. And bonus, this first edition, which is the #1 Ladies Detective Agency, the book that started it all, is actually signed by Alexander McCall Smith. So I have an autographed copy. I did already own this paperback, but now I have an autographed one. So I will be selling the other one soon or donating it. But it's just in beautiful condition. Even though these are all used, they look brand new to me. So I was able to get almost the entire series. I'm only missing 4 titles here. There's 3 that go here, and then there's a new one that will follow this one that will be coming out next autumn, something about pumpkins. And normally I wouldn't have purchased the entire series at once, but I saw them all and they were such a reasonable, modest cost. You would never be able to buy these at a used bookstore for the price that I paid. It ended up being like $2 a book or something. It was wonderful. And now these do come in different sizes. I do have a couple of paperbacks. Then we have the first hardcovers, which are a smaller size. But I did some research and it seems to me like this is what is available anywhere. So, I'm fine with that. So this is the Kalahari Typing School for Men. And then I'm just going to show you some highlights of some of the covers that I just really, really love. We have some more of these. We have the Double Comfort Safari Club. Some of them have photographs on the cover. But they're just beautiful. And inside they all have different colored patterned end papers, which are beautiful. Again, you would never know this was a used book. It's perfect. Some of the ones that I think are particularly beautiful, The Woman Who Walked in Sunshine. This one I think is particularly beautiful. And this is the larger format edition. Look at that. And I actually like these large hardcover editions. Just gorgeous. But isn't that a beautiful picture on the front? It just brightens up your day and cheers you up. And then look at the inside here, following through with the colorful patterned end papers. And then Precious and Grace. This is another one that I love the cover. Isn't that cute? The two of them walking. It's Precious Ramatswe, who is the detective, and then Grace Nkutsi is her sidekick. And here's the end paper in that one. Again, basically brand new. And so the most recent one was this one here, The Great Hippopotamus Hotel. So I'm missing a few in between this volume and this volume. And then, like I said, there's going to be the pumpkin one that comes out at the end of the year. One of the things that I did for my birthday was go to one of our local bookstores called Book Culture. And I went with my son and we had a lot of fun looking around at all the books. They actually have 2 buildings, so it's a lot of fun. They have a children's shack or hut, which is gorgeous. Chock full floor to ceiling with beautiful books for children, and then they have the main building. And so I really had a lot of fun going through Book Culture. Okay, so that was book culture. And I just took a little bit of film footage to share with you there. And so one of the books that I purchased while we were there was this Everyman's Pocket Classics edition. And I got African stories. And so this does have authentic African voices in it. And I'm really looking forward to perusing this one. This would make a great bed table book for the summertime. And this also ticks the box for my Read Around the World Challenge. If you're doing a Read Around the World Challenge or Read Around the Globe or Read the World, why not try a short story? It's a great way to introduce yourself to a lot of authors that way that you may not otherwise have heard of. And there are just so many in here. Chinua Achebe from Nigeria, then Bessie Head from Botswana, Jacob, the Story of a Faith-Healing Priest. So yeah, there's that. And then we have Ben Okri, also from Nigeria. There are authors from Mauritius, Senegal, Zanzibar, Ghana, Mozambique, Kenya. We have Daniel Mendishona from Zimbabwe, Nadine Gordimer, who else? J.M. Kotze, B.L. Hanwana from Mozambique, and Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie from Nigeria. All short stories. I think these short story collections published by Everyman are stunning, and I'm looking forward to getting a collection of these. But if you're in the mood for colorful book covers, I mean, you can't go wrong with this one. It's beautiful. So really psyched to read some African short stories this summer, and I shall report back on them. And then I did pick up this book, which is called, it's a vintage book, and it's called A Book of Girls' Stories. Oops, it's in the ring light there. Let me see if I can show it to you here. And this is a collection of short stories for girls, and it was published in a series called Girls' Choice. And they have all different themed editions: fantastic fun, horses, humor and mischief, new career, drama and history, and foreign intrigue. And this particular collection was first published in 1964 and then 1965 and 1966. And I just think the cover is so beautiful. And you may have heard me talk on here before about the show Time Team, which is an archaeology show. You're probably thinking, what does that have to do with this? Well, the cover art is by Victor Ambros, who did all of the art for the show Time Team. And I love his style, I love his colors, and I would love to collect some more of Victor Ambros's work. This was published by Golden Pleasure Books. And the thing that drew me to this, other than the beautiful Victor Ambros cover and that it's from the 1960s, which was when I was a little girl, are some of the authors in here. I noticed the very first one, Barbara Kerr Wilson, and I love Barbara Kerr Wilson. She did a lot of fairy tale collections, and I own some of those. And then additionally, we have some names I have not heard of, but you know, perhaps new favorite authors. But then we have a story by Joan Aiken, and we have a story by Monica Edwards, and we also have stories by Elizabeth Coatsworth, who wrote children's middle grade books. And there's the very last story in the collection is Funfair by Penelope Farmer. And I read Charlotte Sometimes last year by Penelope Farmer and adored it. It's a novel, children's middle grade novel. So yeah, she has a short story in here. So I'm just really looking forward to browsing through this. It seems like it would be a really fun book to flip through in the spring and summer months. So I was very happy to receive that one. And then finally, I do have a set of 4 other vintage books, all by the same author. And I think in another video, I would like to do like a spotlight on this author because she seems to have led a really interesting life. Her name is Nelia Gardner White. And I had received a gift card for my birthday for eBay. And there was a seller who was selling all of these, and I just couldn't resist. I did a little research. I was like, who is Nelia Gardner White? I read her bio. She's kind of a one of those forgotten female authors of the late 1800s, early 1900s. So here is the stack of books that I procured with my eBay birthday gift card. I think they're just lovely. One of them is in a protective plastic there, but I'll just show them to you. The one that I'll be reading first is a collection of 3 short novellas or long short stories, and it is called The Merry Month of May, and 2 other short novels by Nelia Gardner White. And I think this collection deals primarily with women gaining maturity or growing up, going through hard circumstances and maturing as a result of that. And then another one that I was able to get by Nelia Gardner White is Woman at the Window. I do not know much about this. It says on the back here, a dramatic story of conflict between 2 sisters, an inspiring story of growth to maturity, and a warm story of a hard-won love. So look at this beautiful vintage cover. So there's that one. And then I also got this one, which is in excellent condition. It's called The Thorn Tree. So curious to learn more about that one. Let me see what I can find. Oh, look at the end covers in this one. Wow. I'm excited. And then it's on the back as well. Lovely. And it looks like it takes place in the winter. And then finally, the one that was in a protective wrap is The Pink House. This cover is just gorgeous. I'll try to move it towards the light slowly so that the ring light doesn't blind you. But oh my goodness, look how gorgeous. So there's that one, The Pink House. And this one is also in the winter time. This is the story of the growing up of Nora Home in the lovely and graceful Pink House in New England, which its strange and fascinating people, its undercurrents of hate and frustration and mystery. Okay. So an author I had never heard of before, and she also has a lot of other novels. This isn't all she's written. Like this one says, author of No Trumpet Before Him. So apparently she was a popular author in her time. I'm looking forward to finding out more about her. That is everything I have for today. It was a really fun, kind of laid-back birthday this year, but I was able to have the fun of ordering lots of cool books. Everyone knows me so well, they knew to get me gift certificates and gift cards to buy books. So I really enjoyed doing that. I got just as many used books, if not more used books, than actually new books, and just had so much fun with picking them out and deciding what I was going to get and how I was going to rearrange my shelves and restructure my library. So it's really been a lot of fun, and I hope you're enjoying your spring so far and enjoying your week. I'll be back again with another video, and we will see you again real soon. Bye-bye.